What's up, everybody? We're back, and this is episode 56. I probably sound like a broken record when I say, hey, this was a fun episode. And this was Robert and Henry from Oh my gosh, I practiced it before I started 10 different times, and now I have to look. Esquipulas Coffee. Esquipulas Coffee. You can find them on Instagram. I should hold on real quick here. Okay, I'm going to spell it out. Esquipulas. Esquipulas Coffees. And they do just the coffee beans, and you have to roast them yourself. How fun is that? They gave me a free sample here, and I'm going to roast them. They taught me how to told me how to roast it on the podcast, so tune in to listen how. And it's specialty coffee. It's supposed to be really good. It's highly rated. I don't know. It's super exciting. Listen to this podcast and learn about it. And we just had a good time as well. They brought Patron tequila, and we had a few drinks, got loose a little bit, and just had a really good conversation. This was really fun. I'll definitely have to have them on again. And guys, you can support the podcast by supporting these guys. If you are, I'm sure they'll ship it. I don't know. We didn't talk about if they'll mail it. I'm sure they will. But if you're especially if you're local to Kansas City, they will hook you up. It's not that expensive, and they will get these beans to you. I think it's I don't know. You can just check them out on their Instagram, Esquipulas Coffee. Also, their other one is called Jacoba Farm, Jacoba Farm on Instagram. And the other one, WTF Coffee. That's the other one. All three of those. If you go and just message that, you're going to get either Robert or Henry, and just say, hey, I want some coffee. How do I do it? And they'll be like, tell them you heard it on the podcast, and boom. That would be amazing. And then I have to ask you guys, this is the last week, I believe, to nominate for the Pitch Awards. So again, this is the last time I'm going to be begging for your guys' help. If you are listening to this and you have not yet done this yet, or you expect other people to do it, I need you to do it. I need everyone to listen that's listening right now or watching. Go to www.thepitchkc.com/bestof2019. Scroll down, hit the arts and entertainment tab, little picture, go down to best local podcast, and just type in Neanderthal podcast. It's that easy, and that's how I get nominated. Hopefully we get enough nominations, if you guys are all out there helping me out, that we get put on the ballot. And who knows, maybe we can, I don't know. You never know. Stranger things have happened. So that was one of my longer intros, I think. I had a great time. It's going to show through this episode. You guys are really going to enjoy this one. Something about Henry that we discovered after he drinks. He's from El Salvador and then moved to Australia. And then, like any other accented person, the more they drink, the more it comes out. That was a fun little part. So, guys, enjoy this. Episode 56. Thank you guys all for listening and viewing and nominating, because I know a lot of you have supported me and nominated. Thank you guys all for that. All right, enough chit chat, blah blah blah. Here's the episode.
Welcome to the Inner Talk podcast. We'll no topic is off limits. Now here's your host, my daddy, and Roy the Soul. Oh wait, one more thing for me. Thank you for coming to the Inner Talk podcast. Boom, swat, boom.
Tell me where we're going. Are we going in 3, 2, 1? Boom, shalak, boom. Here we go. We got Henry and Robert. What's up, guys?
What's up, man? How you doing?
These guys came to party. They got Patron.
Yes, sir.
And we got shots poured. Just to let you guys know, this is how this episode's going to go. I didn't think it was going to go like this. I thought, finally I'm going to take a break from drinking on the podcast. And you guys
we wanted you to stick true to how you do things, man.
If that's how I'm perceived as I do things, I'm all right with that.
It's Sunday Fun Day.
Sunday fun day. I came to party. You guys came to party. Let's do it. Shots, guys.
Shots.
First of all, thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
us.
for being here.
Thank you.
El Patron. Or
Just
El,
Patron.
I like El Patron. Huh. That's the first time I've ever had it. That's what the, okay, I get it.
It's pretty smooth.
Now,
I get it.
If it's chilled, and this is not chilled, but typically when I have it chilled, it goes down like silk. Right now, you felt the burn.
There is an afterburn.
There is.
I'm getting it right now.
Yeah. When
There's a
it's
slight
chilled,
burn.
there's no burn. It just kind of.
A little bit of heat. I
Smooth.
understand it though. It is like with anything else, the higher quality something is, the more you can tell.
Yes. Right?
Mhm.
And a lot of people say they don't like tequila because they usually just are drinking well tequila, like shitty,
Yeah.
even $25 bottle
Jose Cuervo.
tequila. Yeah. Jose Cuervo, where they think's
gross.
good. And it's not.
It's
and then
not.
I had a friend that went to Mexico and brought back some mezcal,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like pretty good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like expensive, and
Yeah.
I couldn't like that stuff. You can just straight drink,
Yeah.
just straight, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh wow, there's no burn. It's smooth. It's like what? It's a completely different thing.
This is almost there. When it's chilled, I can say.
I can see how this is like middle.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is way better than normal tequila,
Mm-hmm.
but not quite as good as like the top shelf, like that upper echelon stuff. But that's like I think that's probably a good price point. I
Yeah.
like it. That's smooth. I would drink that.
I would say anywhere you turn up with a bottle of Patron, you're welcomed. How about that?
Yes.
Yeah, nobody's gonna turn it away.
That's for sure. And I think it would be, I don't know, not really a crime. That's a pretty serious word to use, but you shouldn't be mixing that. That's a good, just straight drinker, right? Maybe a mix?
It's interesting.
Not a margarita.
It's interesting, you know, the
Maybe a little lime. Ooh.
No, cheap. You gotta use cheap tequila for a margarita. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
but wouldn't your margarita just be better if you use better tequila?
I don't know.
See, that's my mentality.
Really?
I want to enjoy quality across the board.
Right.
I don't want, so if it means that if I'm trying to go for a margarita, I might as well go for a margarita with good tequila.
Sure.
But I get a top shelf whiskey, and I'm not mixing that with Coke.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
don't want
But I
ice
wouldn't
in
go the bottom. That's what I'm saying. You got to
Yeah.
find your middle ground. And there's
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
be something that you're willing to sacrifice.
I say Jose's a good margarita tequila
it. Yeah. I
because
mean,
you're masking the badness with the sweet and sour. I don't know.
some Jose
I don't know. Margarita.
Cuervo and some bucket margarita mix. You've got a good day going on, I think. You know, you just sit there and pour it in all day.
See, I
Good
just don't
patio
do
drinks.
margarita, so I am
Me
talking
neither.
out of context here. Like
I'm not a big margarita guy. I'll throw some down, but ooh, I like what we did. Ooh,
tequila sunrise.
I
now,
do
that
not
I
like-
do enjoy.
The salt on the rim, I can't stand that.
how about sugar?
No. I
No,
don't,
get up on that mic, Robert. You got to be up on that bad boy.
I don't
You
want
you
anything on that.
Pull it up. Pull it up.
I don't want anything on the
Yeah,
on the
okay.
rim. I want the bite of the
Get
liquor.
about a fist. Put
I want
that
the bite of
put
the
that
liquor.
fist right up to it and get about that
I
far
want that
away,
bite of that
like
liquor.
that.
There you go. Is that better?
That's great. Oh,
Very
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. Great.
Great. Sorry about that.
But yeah, so you talk about the quality, and it's interesting that you can find that same difference on all things we buy. And one of the things we're doing
yeah.
here is the coffee.
Yeah, let's introduce kind of who you guys are before we start partying too hard. I reached out to you guys a few months ago. I saw you guys something to do with coffee, and I was like, oh, where can I buy your beans?
Mm-hmm.
And then you
Right.
said, oh, we're not selling that individually yet, or don't have a store yet.
Correct.
And then I don't know, you can take it from there. Kind of tell me what you guys do. You brought me a package of beans
We did.
a while ago.
And
We've
we
been
were
saving
in
them.
We were kind of in the beginning of just trying to start hyping it and promoting it a little bit. But it actually does come straight from Guatemala. This is specifically sourced. We have 7 farms.
Mm-hmm.
We're
So you guys are a coffee bean company, yeah?
It's a co-op.
It's a co-op.
A
Okay.
co-op. Okay, what does a co-op
We
mean?
are a co-op.
What's a co-op
Correct.
mean?
So a co-op is essentially a group of farms that have come together to try and sell also their own product
Okay.
directly to the consumer.
Okay.
Okay, and that's where that's in a nutshell what we are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, however, what we're trying to do is to deal primarily with specialty coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's a big topic, specialty coffee. Matter of fact, it's so big that it's going to sound absurd, but it's still being defined because it's about specialty practices throughout every portion of the process, from the moment that they plant, how they plant, then how it grows, to essentially how you get your cup.
Wow.
And there's a rating system, so anything 90 and above is rated a special.
Rating what? Rating what?
So it's essentially like they're grading the coffee, okay? The grading the bean. So if your bean is graded above 90, then it's considered a specialty coffee. Anything below 90, and it's a mid-grade coffee.
It's actually 80. 80.
No, it's 90, right?
It's 80.
Is it
From
80?
80 is the benchmark. 80
You're
and
right.
above
You're right. I'm sorry.
is
You're right.
specialty.
I misspoke.
Okay, and these ones we're talking about right now 84, 86 grading.
Who rates it? Like, how do you go about getting it rated?
Byron said 93.
Was it 93?
93.
Okay. Well, we're higher on that. So that's even better. As far as who does it, it starts with the standards set by the Specialty Coffee Association.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a group that essentially sets those standards.
Anna Cafe.
Anna Cafe, which works.
Anna Cafe.
Anna Cafe is the primary. How can we explain it? They're the Specialty Coffee Association for Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So these are like so when they say your beans are 93,
93 would be
correct.
and that's again out of 100.
and
Okay.
that's before anybody starts to like roast them or anything.
Yes, this is
Okay.
telling you just from the get go. Okay, this is telling you, hey, this is a high end coffee.
What's
so you should end up with a high end product.
Are there hundreds out there? Are there 99s? Are there hundreds? Like, what's kind of like
So
what's
the-
like the pinnacle? Like, if it's a scale of 1 to 100,
I sent you an article a couple weeks ago.
is there such thing?
The
as 100?
highest rated bean
Not to my knowledge.
was being sold.
I remember this.
Yeah, what was the price tag? It was like $70 a cup of coffee, and this was being sold in California.
$1,700 a pound,
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah.
For the
You can't grade anything off California. They overpay for anything.
Well, this bean is only
shots
was
fired.
only available in such small quantities. It was the highest graded bean ever, and most expensive bean ever sold. And they purchased, I think it was like 3 pounds of this coffee. This coffee shop in California did, and
3 pounds isn't going to go a very long way.
no,
I mean, I guess maybe at that price it will.
but it was what, $1,700 a pound. I mean, don't
Yeah.
quote me. I mean specifically,
The
but it's pretty
turnover
close
on
to
that.
it. So yeah, you're gonna have to sell it. You're selling it per cup. You're gonna have to sell it pretty high.
So
So
listen, on the specialty end, this should be costing a pound. Well, not exactly this, but a pound of this, I think it's going for $6 to $8.
Okay.
As is.
Okay, before
Okay.
it's roasted or anything.
Yeah.
That seems kind of expensive, right?
It's specialty though, meaning
Right.
that every aspect of it was carefully,
Okay.
meticulously guided to have these results.
For 1 pound? Or
Just a
for
pound.
3/4 of a pound?
No, for 1 pound.
Oh, well, that's a good price. I'd
So
pay that.
$6 to $8 for a pound. However, you
And
lose
then
a
you
third.
get to roast it yourself.
You lose a third
Okay.
of the weight.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you got to be aware of that. But yeah, again, you're going for quality. At this point,
Right.
we're not talking about. I'm not. Excuse me. We're not trying to introduce a product that resembles Mac Cafe coffee, Nescafe coffee. This is something that, for this quality, you have to go to the specialty roasters.
Well, this is what people who drink coffee are going to want this. Is
Yes.
basically what you're saying. I mean, this isn't coffee for the people at work that like to use a Keurig or they use Folgers. This is coffee for people that like coffee.
Mm-hmm. Do
Absolutely.
a pour over, French press.
Yeah, I'm a French press guy. That's
Are you?
that's,
Every day.
Yeah, I don't even have a coffee maker in my house. My parents have asked me 4 times within the past 2 months if I want their Keurig. It's a brand new, nice Keurig. I'm like, I don't need it. I'm not going to
Nothing
use
good
it.
comes out of those.
Nothing good, and you're just gonna it's kind of stupid thing about it is how much waste. I'm not a big carbon footprint guy,
Mm-hmm.
but that does kind of like you're throwing away those pods every single cup.
Good point.
It's just a big waste.
Yeah.
And it's being mailed to you and it's being shipped in these big boxes. I don't know. It's just, I don't need that on my conscience.
I think it's a hassle to have to sit there and make a cup of coffee individually.
Yeah.
You know, it takes me 10 minutes to drink a cup of coffee, if that.
Mhm.
So every 10 minutes, I'm having to get up, make another cup of coffee, and I can drink easily a pot, maybe 2 pots myself a day.
Oh, yeah.
You know, every morning. So
Easy.
I can spend 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes making a French press,
Right.
you know, making it, boiling the water, letting it sit for 7 minutes, breaking the crust, letting it sit another 3 minutes. But then I have that whole pot to drink, and it's a much richer cup of coffee than coming out of a Keurig.
Mm-hmm.
But I was having this conversation the other day, and we were talking about the Chimex automatic coffee pot. It's like a $300 machine, but it's a controlled drip the whole way. So it's like having an automated drip cup of coffee made for you.
Perfectly.
Just perfectly, yeah.
Which I don't quite understand that, because that's essentially what a coffee maker is. Just standard coffee maker is a controlled drip.
But this is
dialed in.
dialed in, though. It's just not just dripping. It's
A cuisine art
I'd have to
coffee
see it.
maker
I
is
haven't
probably
looked
not
into
quite as dialed in as probably that, you would think.
Look, in order to get a proper cup of coffee, you need to have, number one,
water.
good water, like not just tap water. Okay.
Gotta have good water.
Yeah.
Let's break this down. Will you tell us how to make a good French press?
Oh no, I couldn't.
No, you couldn't?
I couldn't.
Yeah, okay,
So-
what can you do?
What you're gonna want to do to get a good French
Put me on the
press
spot
coffee?
like that.
Let me get Robert here. He can break down the French
So,
press. Okay, so
Get
tell
yourself
us how to make a perfect French press.
get yourself some distilled water.
Distilled water.
Get yourself a cheap tea kettle. All right. Pour that water into the tea kettle, set it on your stove, and bring it to a boil. Let it whistle. And then take that tea kettle off. Pour that hot water, that steaming, boiling hot water into the French press. Swirl it around. Get that French press nice and hot. Dump it out in the sink. By that time, that water's cooled down to the perfect temperature for brewing. So then you just take your coffee, dump it into the French press, however much you're going to make.
Really?
And then pour that steaming hot water over the top of it. Bring it up to the top and cover it and let it sit. I let it sit at least 7 to 8 minutes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then what it does is it creates a crest on that top.
Mm-hmm.
And what you want to do is just take a spoon and just do this and break that crest and then let that coffee float to the bottom. So let it sit another 3 minutes and then plunger it down and pour away. That's all you got to do.
Okay. Now, I wasn't paying attention to everything he said,
Okay.
but
Should always pay attention.
Ha.
I want to just make sure that, did he mention water temperature?
He
He
said
mentioned-
boiling, which
Okay.
but then he
No,
said
no,
but,
so, okay,
but then he pours it out, right? You
it-
warm up the carafe and then
So
pour
once
it out.
it comes to a boil and you pour it into the craft or the French press, swirl around, dump it out. It takes about 30 seconds for water to cool from boiling.
Where are you dumping it out at? Back in
Just
the kettle?
back in your sink. You know, just dump a little into because when you dump that steaming hot water into the French press
Uh-huh.
and just kind of give it a good swirl and dump it out back into the sink, it just warms that whole
glass
glass
container up.
exactly.
Okay.
And it takes boiling water about 30 seconds of sitting before it becomes the perfect temperature for brewing. It's not scalding hot at that point to the point where it's going to burn your coffee. It's just that perfect brewing temp. So by the time you kind of dump some water into that carafe, give it a good swirl, dump it on the sink, and then pour some coffee into it, you've given that water about 30 seconds to rest.
Huh.
And you've got your craft, nice and hot and all around.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
What do you got to say there, Henry?
So, I was going with generalities. So I love that he got into it because, again, I don't do French press.
Uh-huh. What do you do? Well, go ahead.
My favorite is a pour over, just where they grab the kettle, Okay, and it's usually a gooseneck kettle. Okay, they have to take in consideration again what he said, that water temperature, but something that they take in consideration is also the weight per ounce, liquid ounce, to determine how much water they pour into, the right ratio to get the right flavor profile. Okay. Then they use a Chemex usually, okay, which is a flask. I'm not sure if you've seen, the flask. And they'll put
like in high school, we used to have this in science classes.
Yeah, somewhat like that.
Like a beaker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, they'll put the cone-shaped filter, which is usually much thicker as well, which allows for that slow pour.
Okay.
Then they do a quick
A paper
pour.
filter?
Yes.
Okay.
They do a pour, and the stages to it, okay, because the first pour is just to the filter to let it heat up. And they also heat up the flask.
Okay.
Okay. All that. You try to bring everything to a temperature where you're not having this shock and change of temperature. Okay. Beyond that, it really comes down to them. I drew a blank. Sorry, I drew a blank. Oh yeah, they as they add more water, they also are looking for the smoke, the vapors to release some of that aroma.
Wow.
Okay, and that's where they're looking for. There is what you've tasted last time, that fruitiness,
Right.
the nuttiness. I've had experiences where, as I go through that process of revealing those profiles, I've had like, what was it, snickerdoodle flavor coming to my
Snickerdoodle flavor.
it's like in coffee.
That's cool.
It's not what I was going for, but you get as you break down the flavors, you get into it anyway. It takes time, it takes them timing how long that pours for.
I want to say you make this sound really complicated, and it really isn't. So,
it
and it
is.
scares like the average consumer away. They're like, "Oh my God, this is like science." Playing with beakers
It's
and
art,
and all this it's scary.
Isn't that a science?
But when you just break it down very simply, it's not, and it becomes a science when you just kind of just learn to adjust it to your own flavor profile, because everybody's going to taste coffee a little differently. So, I mean, the essentiality of it is just to bring water to a boil and get good distilled water, because it tastes better, and it's the main function of the coffee itself. Bring that to a boil, heat you set your filter on top of your Chemex, and just get that filter wet and put your coffee into that filter, and then just pour that water evenly over the top of your coffee, and it'll just slowly drip into your cup. And that's it. And then enjoy it. You might maybe let it sit for a minute and let it rest, like you would a nice fine bottle of wine. After you open it, you give it that second to rest and breathe, and then you smell the good flavors, and then you taste it. But that's all it really is. So I think the average consumer gets really scared that, oh my gosh, if I'm making this by hand, it's going to take me all day, and I'm going to make this terrible pot of coffee.
Make it sound like that.
Yeah.
Well, there's different ways to do it.
Yeah.
But it really is. It's a very simple thing to do, and then you just start figuring out, well, I like a fuller cup of coffee, or I like a lighter cup of coffee, and maybe I'll adjust to adding a little less or a little bit more coffee into it. Maybe I like a darker roast versus a lighter roast. Those kinds of things, and you just kind of learn that as you go, kind of like you would, as a wine drinker or a wine connoisseur. You kind of learn, but I like, white wines, or I like a dark, rich Merlot, and that bitter aftertaste. So yeah,
I make mine. Like I said, I'm a French press guy. I grind my beans up, and I put them in the carafe, and then I heat my water up to 202 degrees, and then I just slowly pour it in there, and then I let it sit for about 6 minutes, then slowly plunge it, and so that's how I do mine. I guess I'm off a little bit. I need to use distilled water.
That'll make a huge difference.
Yeah.
If this one take
See,
away,
I'm under the kind of like, so I also make beer, and the rule behind beer is if your water tastes good, your beer is going to taste good.
Right.
And the beer and the water here, it tastes good. So I just kind of just assume it's going to make my coffee taste good too, right?
You can
Good
get
water makes good coffee.
You can get a good French press cup of coffee with tap water too. I mean, if you want to go,
I'm going to go
really
distilled.
high,
Trust me, I'm going distilled. Now I'm going to compare. I'll do the Pepsi challenge.
We want
like
the
that.
average person to take the time to make a good cup of coffee at home. But if you don't have any distilled water at home, just boil some water. I mean, it's going to be a better cup of coffee than getting it out of your Mr. Coffee machine anytime, and it really isn't much more effort.
Well, that's why I do it. It's not any more effort. And for the people out there that are just trying it, and if they are just trying the French press method for like the first time with some good beans, there's always the placebo effect.
Right.
They're going to tell themselves, no matter what, that it tastes good because they did all this hard work. And so it's just already programmed in their brain that, of course, it tastes better. I did all of this extra work.
Yeah.
It's happened to me.
You can, at the very least, you're at least going to trick yourself.
Right.
And that's the same thing as it being better. Tricking
Absolutely.
your brain doesn't know any different. People go out there, get some good coffee, do it in a French press for the first time, and trick your brain into thinking it's better.
Let me ask you something.
Or it will
though.
be better.
So usually, where do you get your coffee from? Like if you're buying, well, the coffee that you
Me?
do French press.
I grow my own. I got a couple of trees in the back.
Nice. Nice.
I tend to get whatever's kind of on sale that's decent. I'll get Starbucks. I'll get Pete's. I'll get the Roastery. My favorite's the Roastery around here.
Is it really?
The roaster is good.
That's I don't go to. I should. Maybe that's something I need to work on. Is go to local people and buy their stuff. Go to the local coffee shop and get a Messenger Cafe. I've gotten stuff from Messenger Cafe. They're good.
The roastery's local though too. So.
Roastery's local, but so that's usually what I'll splurge on because I'm at the grocery store already. I'm like, oh.
I think he started it in his basement.
Yeah.
Or his garage. Or something.
Him and Boulevard.
Yeah.
Same kind of story, right?
Yeah.
Kansas City.
That's entrepreneur city.
One day you guys are going to see me somewhere big. I'm like, I started in my little basic garage.
Right.
Well, we
That's
hope to do the same.
And you'll be right there next to me. You guys will be the official sponsors.
Right.
There you go.
Love to do that.
Hell
right.
yeah.
We actually want to.
Let's cheers to that. Should we do another shot?
Let's do
I
another
want to.
one.
I brought
was just thinking
ginger ale to
about that.
make drinks, but fuck that. We can just do shots.
I kind of want
You
one
can
of
have
each.
one, but-
One to sip on and one to shoot.
Even, whatever.
There we
It's
go.
your world, baby. I'm just living in it.
Now, these Neanderthal world.
Oh, yeah. This is how Neanderthal does it. Apparently. I was like, all right, I got the coffee guys coming in. It's going to be a relaxing Sunday. I've been getting drunk and drinking on a lot of my podcast episodes lately. I go, this one's just going to be a nice, chill,
Put some in that.
no
Just a
drinking
little
one.
finger.
My liver was going, we're taking a break. And then comes the Patron. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to let you guys down.
So the funny part about that is that as I was driving here, I thought to myself, I wonder if he was hoping this would be more like a chill, let's have a coffee type of thing going on. I was like, oh, well, I'm just doing what I saw.
Yeah, do it.
I haven't drank all weekend, so I don't feel too bad about it. So
I do have a
Ginger ale?
confession. And my producer over here,
Ginger ale?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Miss California, can attest to. I sent her a picture at 9 o'clock this morning of me drinking a beer.
9 o'clock beer,
An IPA.
the
eh? Ooh, IPA at 9.
Was I had to take my CBD.
Oh,
there you
And
go.
I'm out of coffee.
There you go.
rough.
So it's either IPA or water, and I
Right.
mean, I like a good IPA in the morning. Put my CBD in there, and boom. Cheers, gentlemen. Let's do
Cheers.
another shot of
Cheers.
this wonderful Patron, El Patron.
Cheers, producer.
Yeah.
So this is how square
I
I was.
pick up citrusy
We went and seen
on
Yeser
it. I don't know why.
Friday.
You do what now?
It's somewhat citrusy, don't you think?
I can see that.
Like at first, when you first had maybe that acidity. I don't know. I'm being too much.
I think
I like it.
Patron is. I'm gonna put it as as a bite taste. I'm gonna put it somewhere between a vodka and a cheap whiskey, where you get that slight little bite at the end, but it's watery going down like a vodka is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I enjoy it.
That's where I would place it.
I like your hat, Henry.
Thank you. These good old Esquipulas.
So that's the name. Is that what you got? Two names: Jacoba Farm and Esquipulas.
So
Esquipulas coffees.
Esquipulas coffee
Esquipulas.
is the cob.
Did I say it?
Esquipulas.
Esquipulas is how I say it. Is that bad? Is that just because I'm super white?
Yeah.
That's okay. You guys, you know what I mean, though?
I'm
Yeah,
white too.
absolutely.
Esquipulas.
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 There you go.
Esquipulas. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
White
It's
as fuck over
Actually, a
You're fine.
city in
Absolutely.
Guatemala.
there. Okay.
Which is correct.
And that church, that's our logo, is Esquipulas Church. It's a very famous Catholic cathedral. Pope's been there a couple times.
Guatemala.
And then we also have Jacoba Farms label on there, which is the main farm and the co-op of 7 different farms. And this black cat here is Jacoba Farms. So he's wearing our co-op brand of Esquipulas, which encompasses all 7 farms. And then I was representing
The
supporting
Jacoba
our
farm.
main farm.
Correct. So all 7 of them produce what you have: your natural, your washed, and your honey. What you have there, I believe, is the washed.
Which
Okay.
is rare, too, to find a source, an individual source that can give you all 3. So
All
normally,
3 what now?
all
What,
3.
why is there 3 different kinds of...
It's the drying process. So
Okay.
there's 3 different types of drying processes, and one's just a natural dry.
Were they
one's
just laid out in the sun or something, or what?
right, and then one's a,
Cement patio.
yep, and
Really?
one's a washed dry,
Mhm.
and the other's a honey wash,
A
which
honey
is
wash,
which is
huh?
newer. So when these coffee shops, cafes go around sourcing their coffee beans, to find a washed coffee in Guatemala is one thing, but then they have to go source another locale source in Guatemala to get a natural finish,
I gotcha.
and then they'd have to find a third
But you
one.
guys hit the jackpot and
We
hit the
have it
guys
all
that do all
3.
3.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of the big things about it, that we do all 3. On top of doing all 3, there's 2 different drying methods involved. As I mentioned earlier, there's the cement patio, which is literally what it is. You lay it out
Or they just pick the beans and put it on the patio.
to dry, and you want them to dry completely and fully. Okay.
Okay.
After that, they go through a process of trying to deseed, I guess you could say,
Okay.
or remove that dry pulp. Okay.
Okay.
But being the natural process, it ends up with a lot of the fruitiness,
Mm-hmm.
the fruitiness that's involved in the coffee.
These are funny looking.
You
They
think
don't-
so?
I don't know. They are.
This is the honey. Look at it, and it's gonna look
The
different. to
bean
you.
itself is funny looking.
Yeah, just the bean itself. I don't know. They're just these hard little.
I wish we had a
Look like
Robusta bean to
bugs, kinda.
compare it to.
You know what they're like? You know, they for the listeners or whatever, they're like corn nuts. They're like green corn nuts. You ever had corn nuts?
Right. And when you roast them, you can just
You have
eat
never
it.
had corn nuts?
I don't know.
Do you know what they
if
are?
If the ones that you're
It's like a
thinking of.
corn chip.
No,
But
no, it's like a
it's-
corn. It's like a
but
corn kernel.
Right.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Love-
annoy people eating those because they're so
Yeah,
crunchy.
because they're so
They're good.
freaking loud. And
But
for
there's-
someone like me, I've got that misophonia, where if anyone's chewing around me, I want
Really?
to just murder them.
I
I've
think my
got it.
wife
Oh.
goes through the same thing.
It's something that's, I can't help it. People, I don't understand how everybody doesn't have that. Like you guys would be okay with me sitting over here eating with my mouth open,
No, come
No,
on.
not your
That's
mouth
too much.
open.
But
That's
some
over the
people-
top.
but making noises, a whole bunch of noises. Would that be all right?
No.
No? Does it drive you nuts?
I'd rather have you get food all over you than make a bunch of noises. you
There's
know?
some people that are cool.
I
with
wouldn't
it.
say anything though because it's your place.
Right.
You do.
Well, I
you.
say we're out in a public. We went out to Perkins for a couple of sandwiches.
But
And I'm
Perkins is kind of redneck, so you could be in there.
You're
It just-
missing. You're
it just
going
dep-
over my whole point here.
It depends how cool we were.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't say anything to you, but I would learn my lesson of maybe I shouldn't take this guy into public anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Well, I'm not like that. But when someone just is loud eating, I cannot handle it. I just want to punch them through the wall.
You know,
I can't help it. I can't help it. It's like this. It's just this anger that builds up. Like it's immediate. My son just turned 6 2 days ago, and lately I don't know what the hell's gotten into him, but he's just like mouth wide open, chomp. I'm like,
I want to tell you, what it
dude,
is.
you need to knock that off now. Like I am like
I want to tell you what it is, and I'm totally making this up, but it's from my personal experience because I was wondering why people do this. Okay, now this is gonna sound weird, but as I watch a lot of like YouTube shows about native people cooking their native food and things like that, when you watch them eat,
Native to where?
to their country,
Oh, okay.
let's say maybe India, some real India home cooking, back in the country type of stuff.
Oh, right.
Okay. Likewise, if they go to Indonesia, Singapore, it's a deep in. Okay. And when I see them eat their food, they're always smacking.
Oh, yeah.
Smacking, right?
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, why do they do that?
It's a form of respect, and it says the food is good or something. Is that what they're doing it for?
No. Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I tried. I was like, all right, I'm going to start smacking my food when my wife's not around because she's the one that would probably hit me if I did.
Right.
Okay. So, and what I found interesting is that when I smack my food, the flavor is more intense.
Ha.
And I can only guess is because my tongue is like fully wide smacking, getting all over. You know what I mean?
It's kind of
Kind
like
of.
why we slurp coffee when we're cupping it. Too.
Yeah.
You
I wonder if
get
that has
that-
something to do
thing.
with the oxygen. Maybe you're getting extra oxygen in your
You're
mouth.
pulling
Which
that flavor
gets
in.
more flavor.
You know, they say that about there's some Asian culture where like soup and noodles, you have to slurp it. Like,
Yeah.
and if you don't slurp it, that's like you're offending the person who served it to you because apparently it's extra good when you're slurping. So you go over there and they're all slurping it. There's some places so
How
there's
do
like
you
this
feel
thing.
about slurping then?
I don't like slurping any noise. I don't want you gulping that soda you're about to drink. I don't want you chewing. I don't want
Gulping this.
it's so any noise that has to do with
Anytime.
eating or drinking.
Watch this.
It drives me. I don't know. I mean, like I'm cool with it. I'm fine with it. Like I'm cool, but after a while, it's like it just gets to me, and I'm like, oh.
You know what
like,
the worst
I
is?
can't help it. It's like there's something in my brain. I'm broken. I'm broken in my brain. There is a real thing. It's called misophonia, where you have this thing where when you hear that, it just angers you. Just bam. And it is. My sister has it too. Like all growing up, my parents make fun of me about it because they don't have it. They're cool with it. But all growing up, they'd be chewing their food loud, and I'd give them this look. I'd shoot them. I'd just give them this death stare, and they all know what the stare means.
That's
It's just
awesome.
like, yeah. So now we'll go out to eat, and they'll just be like, hey, Ryan.
Of course.
I'm like, even then when they're joking around, I'm like, mother.
The worst is, I think, is going out to eat with somebody because you're forced to want to talk while you're
Let me
eating.
join you with one of these.
and
these
I
little
can't
drinks here.
stand somebody that's talking to me with a mouthful of food. Like you can make the slurping noises, do anything else. Just don't show me the food that's in your mouth. That drives
Right.
me insane. And then I feel like a Neanderthal, with your show when I'm eating because I don't want to talk to you. I just want to inhale my food and I want to ignore you. It's not a social event to me.
Eating food's not a social event.
No, it's just a inhalement. Like a
Need to
dog.
replenish.
Yep.
Reminds you of Thor, the movie, the first movie.
No.
You've never watched Thor?
I think I watched part 2.
Oh no, in the first
I'm
one.
not a
he
big
eats food.
I'm not a big Marvel comic book fella. I like Batman.
Batman.
But
The
other
utility
than that,
belt is the.
I'm a
the best.
normal fan of things.
That's cool. No,
I'm not
I'm the
obsessed with
abnormal
that.
one. Everybody loves that stuff. I don't get into it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not into it like that, but
I'm more into other things.
I'm not one of those guys that can quote you movies.
Okay.
Those people, can you do that?
I can quote some movies.
I'm a Spaceballs guy.
Can't quote
Spaceballs
a
is
single
great.
one.
Give me some Caddyshack
Smell
all
bricks.
day. Oh, Caddyshack.
No. I don't even know what you're talking about right now. It's weird.
You don't even know Caddyshack the movie?
The reference
Really?
right now? Oh, no.
We got to do an 80s movie night.
You got to watch. Caddyshack's one of the best movies ever. It's really good. And
That
Rad
was more
Racer.
like the
and I
nerd.
think it would hold up.
Is it like the Nerds? Revenge of the
It's
Nerds?
better than that.
Really?
Yeah. Hey,
What
don't pull
about,
that part.
do you remember the ones called Porky?
Huh? Yeah, Porky. I know Porky's.
Yeah,
That's not good. I mean, it's classic, but it's not good.
I remember
It
those.
doesn't hold up.
I have nothing to compare
Caddyshack
it
holds
to.
up.
Yeah, Caddyshack's pretty good. I'm weird. One of my favorite 80s movies is Rad Racer.
What's
Well,
that?
It's a cycling show. They're
Rad Racer. I remember
Yeah,
there was a
you
video
got to
game.
check it out.
There was a video game in the '80s for Nintendo called Rad Racer.
Is there?
It was a
It was
car.
like
It was a
Paperboy
car
or
game.
something?
No, it was a car game, like a Formula racing type game. But it was the first game in 3D. It had like green and white, and then you had to wear the goggles, the glasses.
In the 80s? Is this the early 90s or the 80s?
80s. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone
'Cause
right now.
Nintendo didn't even come out till the beginning of the 90s, so...
No, Nintendo was in the early 80s. Nintendo.
Yeah.
Was
Nintendo
it?
was early 80s.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Was it really?
Hmm. I was
just that young? Because I had, like, Nintendo's second it came out. I thought it was, like, the beginning of the 90s.
I'm gonna ask Siri. When did the NES come out?
Nintendo Entertainment System was published October 18th, 1985.
Oh, wow. I guess I didn't get it when it came out.
19
I was born
Racer
84.
for the Nintendo.
Sorry, I'm still...
The video game Rad Racer for NES.
Here's what I found.
1987. Rad Racer.
Look up what year did Rad Racing come out.
Here it is. Yeah, yes, here it is. Here it is. This is such thrilling.
Oh, wow. So, okay.
You guys
This
see
is
that?
sports car
I
racing.
remember that.
You remember that?
I did remember that.
And then they would have a screen where it would go
Yeah.
like all in red,
I
and it
remember
would be
this.
squiggly, and you would put your 3D goggles on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was this on the Game Gear, too? Or was there was a...
No, I think it's
Game
just
was
look at
pretty
that. Look at that.
similar to it
That
on
brings
Game
me
Gear.
back.
That sound.
That takes me back.
My brother was so good at that game. My younger brother.
Did
Who-
you ever actually play it like with a steering wheel?
I don't think they had that back then yet.
No.
No.
They had the power
With-
glove. I had the power glove, but I don't think you could even use. I don't think you could steer on that with the power glove.
Not back then, but like
I never had the Power Glove.
Not many people did. It wasn't worth it. It was basically the
Didn't know there
controller
was such
glued
a
to your
thing.
arm.
Did you ever get the Sega CD?
Yeah. Yeah. I messed with it. It wasn't that great.
It wasn't.
Nah.
I had the Sega, but then I switched to Super Nintendo because
Super Nintendo,
Was-
Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this.
Heck yeah. Let me tell you, I didn't do
I don't
much.
know who sung that. But
What?
no, I don't.
That's Biggie.
Is it?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Biggie Smalls.
I wasn't into that when I was a kid.
Ah,
I'm a country guy,
Country guy. Ugh.
he really is.
I can't do no country.
and punk rock. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
311's one of my favorites.
some
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 311 is my favorite.
Yeah, here's some stuff.
They're coming to
you know,
town soon.
Yeah, they are.
They always are, though.
They're always here.
I can't go on another 311 talk. I had one a few episodes ago where the first 20 minutes of the episode was all 311. I can't go down that road. I'm going to cut this off right now on the 311 talk
All right.
because I will get sucked up into that.
I don't know enough about them,
They're just from my hometown.
but I know I do. I've heard their music. It's like everything else. I don't tend to keep it in my memory for very long. Like just doesn't
You don't. Nothing registers up there for very long. It's like buckets later and you're done.
done.
Yeah. How'd you guys get involved in the coffee game? Like, what sparked you guys to be like, I'm going to go
It was my
get
buddy.
beans from Guatemala
No,
and
it was-
start
it
selling
was-
it?
it
Like,
was-
how does this start?
It was our buddy from Guatemala. He
Where
was
are you
here in
guys
the
from?
US.
Or you said you're from Omaha?
I'm from Omaha originally. I moved down here. We're both in the insurance business.
Okay.
You know, professionally, but yeah. So I moved down here to get closer to my family. I went through
How long have you been
a
here,
divorce.
down here?
4 years now. 4 years.
Oh,
now?
you've only
4
been down in
years.
Kansas City for a few years.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
great. Henry, you?
I've been here for about 12 years now.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm originally from El Salvador, and then I was raised in Australia, and then came here.
Huh.
Yeah,
Weird.
it is.
How long were you in El Salvador?
Till I was 10.
And then to Australia?
Till I was 26.
Where's El Salvador? I'm an idiot.
El Salvador is
Central America?
Central America, like Mexico, Guatemala,
Right.
Belize, El Salvador's just down
Okay.
there. It's tiny.
Why did you go to Australia?
Man, there was a war
Where? In
in El
Guatemala?
Salvador.
Or El Salvador?
Yeah, there was a
Okay.
war.
A
There was
war or a
there's-
wall?
Nah,
The
a war.
Okay.
A war.
What kind of war?
It was basically a civil war, you could say. You know,
Like a drug? Was it a drug war or just
no, like the people
government
versus
against
the
the
government,
Really?
yeah, type of thing.
Did you guys have weapons?
I mean, it was all out. I remember
Really?
seeing like helicopters shooting
Are you kidding
missiles
me?
into
Wow.
yeah, no, I remember seeing that as a child, man.
Holy
Like,
cow.
bullets ricocheting off walls.
Really?
And I was not in the bad area. I want you to know that that's what's crazy about it, really. That I was in what was a private street, you know, but where I was, you could see the volcano. I mean, there's 20-something volcanoes in El Salvador, I believe.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, and because the guerrillas, being the people,
Uh-huh.
you know, they were there hiding, and the government was trying to get them out. But, yeah, they'd be with helicopters just shooting missiles, man.
And it doesn't matter what side. Is there even a side that you're on? Are there just people that aren't?
Not for my family.
Right.
My old man was just, you know, I mean, he, you know, just regular Joe.
Wow.
Most people were regular Joe.
Right.
And that's isn't it with everything? Very few people really take sides.
Was it extremists again? Extremists, or were a lot of people on the people's side? Like, how did that? I guess I don't know.
Too young to know.
Okay.
But I can tell you that there's a lot of corruption
Sure.
in those governments. Right now, actually, El Salvador just went through a new presidency. It's the first time they've chosen like a real young millennial that's
Oh, really?
way different to everybody
Wow.
else. It's not even they stepped outside the standard. Say Republican and
Democrat.
we have always been here in the
Uh-huh.
U.S. Okay, it's the first time ever that's ever been broken.
Oh, wow. That would be huge.
It's
Holy
huge.
cow. That's
Pretty
huge.
excited. The guy's very forward thinking.
So there's a war going on in Salvador
There
when you're 10, and
Mm-hmm.
then your parents said, "We got to get the hell out of here," or what?
Yeah, so my
like,
mom applied for a political asylum, it's called.
in Australia.
No, to like Australia, Switzerland, Canada.
Just why these places specifically?
Because they're the ones that tend to offer.
Okay.
Because you know there's small populations.
How did your
huge
mom know that?
countries.
How does somebody know that back then? This was before the internet.
I don't know, honestly.
This
I
was
think
a
it's
long.
just-
How do you know?
You figure out like I don't know. I imagine it's like, you know, she must have known somebody. I want to say she knew somebody
Okay.
that told her about it.
Sure.
There's probably a
then-
network going
Yeah,
on.
and then she
Wow.
started following up on it. Thing is that Canada said no, which I'm always like,
Well, they're racist up there. Everybody
Canucks.
knows that.
Stinking Canadians.
Yeah.
Canucks. Like,
This is
whatever.
all white people. You won't find a colored person of any kind of color up there.
I asked her.
It's
I
just
said,
all white people with
well-
a flannel hunting moose.
They do have like
They're just really nice.
they do have a big
just
Muslim
racist.
population going on up there. Right
I'm just I had shots fired on California. I'm going after Canada now. I'm just
now. right.
I asked her. Hey, I asked her. I said,
I'm just kidding. Canada.
Why
Letter
didn't
Kenny,
you apply
though,
to the
I love that
US?
show.
Why didn't you apply to the U.S.?
Oh, she didn't even apply to the
No.
U.S.
And she's
Okay.
like, I didn't want you to grow up to be gang members. I was like, wow, what a profile of country,
Wow.
right? From the get-go.
What kind of information was she getting to think that? Okay, so
Well, this is
So
back when we like
the
shoot each other
Salvadorians
over
that-
starter jackets.
when
you
would
know?
this have been? Late
90s.
70s, 90s? How old are you?
39. So 1990s when I left.
So 10. This would have been
El Salvador.
1990. Yeah. So late 80s. So she would have been growing up in the. I can see.
I
Where
mean,
she would have been. I don't want you being in the 80s. There was a lot of like gang propaganda.
So was the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Heavily.
But she probably would have been influenced because if you moved right in the 90s,
Yeah.
right at 90, she was being influenced by the 80s,
Right at the
which was
peak.
the crack epidemic.
Right.
All that stuff was going on, and it was just being that was a lot of propaganda. So of course she thought there was going to be gangs
Yeah.
all over America. That's crazy.
Yep. And then that's it.
So Australia said, "Hey, we love El Salvadorians."
Australia was like, you got 3 young boys? We need youth. Do it.
So we're at in Australia,
Perth. West
Okay.
Coast.
West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? Wow. What? I mean, that's a completely
shocking.
different. That's a whole nother
shocking.
world.
It was a shocker.
Was it beautiful? Like,
Oh, yeah.
like here,
still
was it
is.
like? Was it? No, I mean, beautiful to you. Were you like? Did you accept it? Be like, this is amazing. I just hit
No.
the lotto, or were you like, I didn't want to leave home?
I thought my mom was tricking me and was paying people to fake speak English around me. And that everything was just like a scenery. Yeah, I had a
Really?
fucked up way to deal with it. I didn't know what was going on.
Even when you took like a 15-hour plane ride or whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, because once I got there, it was more like, I can't believe I'm here. Am I really here?
Uh-huh.
And sometimes, you're hearing English, but you don't know the language.
Do you remember those feelings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
El Salvador, what do you guys speak there?
Spanish.
But did you speak English too?
No, I took English
So why were
classes.
you okay? But why were you surprised everyone speaking English? Oh, because you only spoke El Salvador, or I mean
Spanish. No.
Spanish El Salvador.
Well, no. I knew they spoke English, but every now and then, in my mind, I thought I would hear someone say a Spanish word.
Okay.
And I thought, oh, they're faking it.
That's
And
so
this
funny.
10-year-old kid,
Wow.
he's trying to deal with what's going on.
Right. That's a huge. That's. Think about it. I mean, you're an adult now, and we can look at it like, oh, it was no big deal.
It's like, no, I was.
But to a 10-year-old to get uprooted from, is it fair to say El Salvador is a third world country?
Yeah,
Especially at that time with that kind of war going on, to
think
get
so.
ripped from a third world country
without
to go
a doubt.
to
I think we're coming out of it, but we're still there.
a very westernized, white,
They use the American dollar as their currency.
white
Adopted.
predominantly culture now,
Yeah.
like a completely different culture. I don't know much about Australians. I know they're a little different.
Yeah, fairly.
You got kind of. Does he have kind of an Australian accent?
He does.
It comes and goes when I start.
You hear that shit
Can
now?
you hear it?
I've heard it since the beginning.
At first, he's had an accent since the beginning, but now it's I just thought it was kind of
What did you
Spanish
say?
type, but now it's like real kind of.
What did you message me earlier for lunch?
This is fascinating.
sandwich.
Sanga.
Sanga for. He was talking about Sanga for sandwich, and I just my mind went automatically to herbal supplements, and I said no, I'm good, and he goes no, that's Aussie for sandwich, and I'm like okay.
Sanger.
Sanga.
Okay, I like it.
Sanga. Sanga.
So from 10 to when?
26
Wow.
when I came here.
Wow. What? That's interesting. Are you an El Salvadorian or are you an Australian?
So for the longest time, I had an identity crisis
Right, of course.
because of it.
Right.
Especially then you come here.
And now yeah.
And I've been here almost as long as I was in Australia. Definitely longer than I was in El Salvador.
12, 24. Yeah, you've almost gone a third, and a third.
By numbers, I'm more
You're
American than
anything
Salvadorian.
else, yes.
But still more Australian than anything else. Because it's actually 10, 16.
Right, your
12.
real big years, your years of puberty,
Yeah.
right? Let's not beat around the bush.
developed in Australia.
Pun intended.
No, but seriously, it's how do I see myself? Honestly, I embrace all of it. It's come to that point. I don't care about I was here, I was there. Now it's like it's all part of me. So it's what you get.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're just a Midwestern, boring Omaha dude. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm
He's
just
backwoods though.
born and
That's always
raised, and
oh yeah, backwoods is pretty interesting.
yeah, I'm backwards, guys. I grew up in Seward, Nebraska.
Seward, Nebraska.
Yeah, Seward, Nebraska.
Oh my gosh. Does anybody stand a
the
chance?
4th of July
from there?
capital, the 4th of July capital, and
Of Nebraska?
yeah, or of the U.S.
I love-
supposedly.
Every small. I lived in Bay City, Michigan. They claim to be the 4th of July capital. Also,
Yeah, I
it's a
mean,
bunch of
everybody-
Polacks. It's a bunch
everybody-
of Polacks that
I
are
think
lighting
that's
off
what
shit
it
and
is.
just getting drunk.
And then we moved to Omaha, and I went to high school in Papillion there, and I was a monarch and
What's a monarch?
a butterfly. Yeah, I played tennis, so I was a butterfly tennis player, and then went to college.
Did you just give us your high school credentials on that?
Yeah, I did. I mean,
that
Why do
was-
Americans
But
do
you
that?
know what?
I don't. You won't.
Papillion-
Because he peaked in high school.
but no, Papillion is still one of the best cities in the country, I guess. And
I'm gonna peak
We
tonight.
read this the other day, and then I went to college at University of Nebraska and played tennis there. And
You played tennis at University of Nebraska?
Yeah, college tennis, yeah.
Wow.
yeah,
So you were a legit tennis player.
yeah.
Wow.
I think
At one
For
point
a
in my
country
life.
boy, how does a country boy get into tennis? That's
well,
weird.
does
there's
a country
golf-
boy end up being
I didn't-
art-minded?
I wasn't on
like
a
him
farm,
and-
but I
We're a small
grew up-
town, right?
yeah. I mean, we had a golf course and all kinds of stuff. It was fun stuff.
How did you get involved with tennis? Like, don't you have to kind of have money for tennis? Did you have money growing up?
I come from a middle class family.
Okay.
I spent my weekends, at the lake camping and fishing, and,
Right on.
And I didn't grow up poor, but I wasn't rich either.
Were you good at tennis?
I was good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have any aspirations to like try to
good
go
enough
after?
to mess my knees up but yeah.
So did you have aspirations after college for tennis?
No.
No? How come?
I knew
Not that good.
I wasn't that good. No.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna be the Tiger Woods of tennis. You know what I mean?
You just have to be you don't have to be Tiger Woods. You just have to be the guy that takes last cash.
Right.
I wasn't-
Last cash is some straight cash in the PGA. I mean, the last golfer is banking, dude.
I wasn't gonna.
For real.
College tore my body up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna be able to.
How awesome was college? Was there? I had a full ride scholarship for soccer in college, but it was just a JUCO. No big deal.
Still.
What was it like at a major school? Did you have access to chicks as a tennis player? Football players, baseball players, basketball, like the big
The
ones.
tennis guys
they've
get
got
it.
the hottest of the hotties, but there's still hot chicks in every aspect of life.
Yeah.
So were there like tennis hotties that were kind of like in the group, like, hey,
Yeah. Am I
gonna get you in trouble?
I'm gonna say this.
Wait,
Are you married? Are you taken? What's your deal right now?
Well, I'm divorced and I'm in a pretty good relationship right now, but
She doesn't mind talking much if
no,
you talk about your past.
No. So
Slinging that tennis
I'm gonna
dick all
say
over that
this.
University of Nebraska.
So I had a son.
Look at you
pretty
corn
young.
husker.
I had a son pretty young, and I was in a committed relationship through my college years. And
You wasted him.
I did waste them.
You wasted him.
But there was. I'll say this. Okay, so Nebraska Wesleyan is down the street. It's a Catholic school, so there was that. So
I didn't mean
that's
to
what
make
I'm
you
gonna say.
blush. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
That's
Henry.
too funny. Yeah.
Go ahead, Henry.
Did you play any sports in Australia? Did you get into any Australian rules football or anything? Or what's big over there growing up for you
I
guys?
went to what's called an all rugby school,
Really?
meaning that rugby is like,
That's it.
comparable to fucking chemistry. In
Really?
regards to getting points, for
Yeah.
for your GPA.
Probably like a Texas football,
Easy.
high school football
Easy.
type of thing.
We were state champ 3 years in a row.
Did you play?
Yes.
What was your position?
I was what they call a scrum.
Yeah,
Part
yeah.
of the scrum.
I used to
Forward.
watch a lot of
So
it.
I was a forward, so I was scrum.
I think I would have been a hooker.
How many states
So
are
I was
there
with
in
a,
Australia?
7.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Did a little boxing later on
Oh,
when
yeah?
I was in my early 20s.
Boxing.
Yeah.
Tennis, boxing, soccer. We could put ourselves a badass little team together and take over.
My daughter's
The
a pretty good soccer
YMCA's
player.
all over
The
Kansas City.
YMCA's. Then I did some indoor soccer.
Oh, indoor
love
soccer's
that.
great. Yeah.
He's good.
Is young producer, is that CBD over there? I've got a little bit of a little flaring in my pinky. Let me go hit that.
That does
CBD from
happen.
CBD American Shaman. If you guys saw my post.
Yeah. I love those guys. I interviewed with them
What do you mean?
for a little bit just to get a side gig. Some side catch. Some
To work.
free CBD, yeah.
Did you get hired? Or
They wanted to, but then I took another gig.
oh, okay.
I give my dog CBD.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do. He's
I take it every day. I take it all day, every day. It's great.
I've got a 9-year-old, 180-pound Newfoundland at home, and he's got.
Holy shit! How much does that guy eat?
He eats a lot
All day.
Yeah, he eats all day.
That's like having a teenager.
But he's got arthritis now, and I cook him some hamburger and I'll put some CBD oil into it, and it does him wonders. They actually make it specifically for dogs too.
Mm-hmm.
It's great stuff.
They do. I think that American Shaman. Where do you get yours? I think you say you go to Missouri.
It's the Shaman over in Missouri. It's the same stuff you can get in Kansas, and it's the same price, but it's a higher dosage, I guess. I'm not as hip as you guys are on that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. That guy, the
just
CBD
more
American
of it
Shaman is
in
great
there.
stuff. He's all over the place.
Huge.
I highly recommend him.
It's huge.
Yeah, I had the owner. I had the owner on the podcast.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I know that he's working with the state
Boulevard,
officials
too.
and a bunch of different ones to
Oh, dude.
change some stuff.
The conversation I had with that guy after the podcast
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't talk about it, but it's insane. Yeah,
That's
that
awesome.
that guy knows people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
guy
mean,
knows.
they're-
He's awesome. I've been thinking about inviting him back on. In fact, I'm going to.
How'd you link up with him?
Such a rant. Just this podcast is so funny. I'm as independent as fuck. I do everything basically myself.
Mm-hmm.
I took my kids to a fair, like the Lee Summit Fair, whatever it was. Just some town fair, right?
Right.
And I'm walking, and we did a bunch of rides. We did some food. They're young. They're toddlers, basically. And it was like, it was, all right, it's time to get them home. They're about to melt down. I can hurry up and get them home when everyone's in a good mood before they have full-on meltdown mode and make a scene. If anybody has kids, they know what that means. They were 5 and 2 at the time. 4 and 2, whatever. And I'm walking through this fair, and it's these tents are set up to sell different things. And I walk by, and this guy has a sign that says CBD American Shaman. And I was like, I like that name. Holy cow, that's really cool. I wish I had time to go and stop and talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
But to avert crisis with the children, I just beelined it straight to my car, but kept that name in my head. Googled them on Facebook or whatever, and looked for them, and I sent them a message. Hey, I really like your name, and I told them the whole story. Would you guys would you like to be on my podcast?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh yeah, I'll talk to Vince. And like the guy that runs their Facebook was like, yeah, let me talk to Vince. I'll get it set up. We'd love to do that.
Nice.
I'm thinking it was just this small one store, I thought he had 3 stores because I talked to him on the phone at the very first. It's like, oh yeah, we're opening up a store over here, blah, blah, blah. I'm super busy, but I want to do the podcast. I was like, all right, well, let's set up a date. We set up a date. And like I said, I'm thinking it's just a dude that has 3 CBD shops. He comes on the podcast. This dude's got shops all over the country. He's like one of the biggest CBD players in the game in the country.
Yeah, you're right.
I had no idea. He really is. Like, he is like, if anyone's gonna get their CBD, you need to get it from him. Especially listen to the podcast that he was on. His story is inspiring. It's touching. Like, he's in this for the right reasons. He's not a business dude looking to make a quick buck, looking to capitalize on CBD. He started it just to help his uncle out. His uncle got like super stage 4 cancer, and he was just looking to help him out. And this was like a last ditch effort.
Wow.
Check that episode out, guys. Whoever's listening or watching this, it's Vince CBD Expert Sanders is the name of the episode. It was one of my first episodes of the podcast.
Are you serious?
Really?
Wow.
I think it was like episode 6.
You need to have him back.
I know.
Yeah.
It was like episode 6.
You need to have him back.
I'm
'cause
going to.
That was a while back.
Yeah.
I was
I
gonna
know.
ask you what
It's a highly listened to and watched podcast. When I check my analytics, that one people always listen to that and are always checking that one out. Yeah, I need to get him on.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Get him back and be like, because now he's even grown. from
I've
back
sent him
then.
so much, and what's cool is I've given him a lot of business.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't think he knows that because there wasn't any kind of promo code or anything. But so many people have told me, dude, I've been using CBD American Shaman, blah, blah, blah. It's so great. Like, and people come up and tell me that like they check his stuff out because of it. It's pretty cool.
They have some proprietary nanotechnology
Yeah.
do.
that they use, which is part of why also they're so good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
This information I got from the interviewer,
Yeah.
when I interviewed with him. But pretty exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
He's grown so much since that episode. I mean, do you think you could even get him back on here?
Yeah.
Just curious.
I think so.
I think you could.
I think so.
Yeah,
He likes to-
I
he
mean,
like-
you've grown a lot too, obviously, since your first one. I'm not downplaying that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said,
But the
I-
whole
like I said,
industry is,
It
has
has.
exploded.
yeah. I had an interesting,
like-
like I said, I had an interesting talk with him after the podcast when the mics were off.
Is
I think I could get him back on again.
is CBD the next like Silicon Valley type explosion?
Internet,
yeah.
The
It's the
internet
next
bubble type
boom.
thing. It
Yeah.
is a big boom. The tech bubble type
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, yeah, it's huge. CBD is taking over. I mean, you see it in everything.
It's like the cure all.
There's all these big. You notice these like big little blurps in history. Like we had the tech bubble, but that was huge. That was
The 90s.
the internet is something that reshaped history. I mean, that is the biggest invention in the history of mankind, in my opinion. It doesn't get any bigger than that.
I mean, we all
But
carry
since then,
small little computers now.
We all carry the world's information in our pocket.
We do.
But then we've also had these, because of that, we've had these other big booms, like like we were talking about craft beer, the craft beer boom.
Yeah.
There was an inside of that was an IPA boom.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing how all these booms create these other booms.
Yeah.
And then here you guys are catching on to this coffee boom.
Yeah.
I think
its
the
third wave.
coffee gets these little booms, and I think there's a big one coming with kind of the technical way of brewing you were talking about, Henry. People are interested in that. I think you think a lot of people are afraid of that. I think this day and age, the people downtown that are living in the river market of Kansas City, or like the hip places to live in any city in America,
North Kansas
they're
City,
looking to do fun little things like that.
Yeah.
I want to have a coffee party. I want to get Esquipulas coffee,
Esquipulas.
and I'm going to roast it myself
Yeah.
because I'm having people over next weekend. I'm going to roast it myself, and I got my little Pyrex set, and I'm going to do a slow
100%.
drip in front of them. People are into that shit.
They
I
are.
told
That
him.
little
I
niche
said to this
stuff
guy,
like that. If you
experiences.
can, experiences is huge,
It is. It's
and
like
that starts at
Keep saying to him.
experiences is funny.
these little board game cafes keep popping up again.
Yeah, I think there is a really big market for that kind of little thing. Experiences is funny. Like I said, my son just turned 6 the other day, and I was kind of discussing with him, what do you want for your birthday? You can either kind of have like an experience gift or like a hard physical gift. And he was like, "Oh, I want to go to I want to go ride roller coasters with Grandpa and Grandma, but then I want you to get me like some squirt guns or a butterfly net or something." Like, so he understands, like he's just turned 6, and experiences are a big deal.
Yep.
And that's part of being the human journey, is experiencing
I agree
things.
100%.
And doing that coffee is an experience. And people are embarking on this coffee experience. There is a little bit of a boom in like the hipster culture.
Mm-hmm.
And the
It's
little,
not just that. It's like, going back to what you said earlier, it's the whole art of doing it yourself. The do-it-yourself experience has blown up. You know, that's
again, the internet, probably YouTube.
That's the Pinterest. You know,
yeah, exactly. Pinterest, huge. Yes.
Yes, I mean, so there's all these just how to do things yourself.
Bitches
tutorials.
love Pinterest.
Yeah,
bitches love them some self in Pinterest.
You know, and there's a lot of good things for guys on there too. You know, for how to build this and that, and you know, it's like just like the small YouTube search. You know, and it all leads you back to YouTube, which YouTube is very much a lot of guys, mostly guys on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, if you're on YouTube, Neanderthal Podcast is available on YouTube. Everybody, go ahead and hit that up. Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
But there's a how to do it on YouTube for everything. So whether it's a part goes out, you know, your oil pump goes out in your truck. You know, a guy is on there showing you how to replace the oil pump on your specific truck or Jeep or whatever. I mean, for anything, there's how to do it. I mean, and like I said, mostly guys are on YouTube looking up how to do this myself.
I changed my serpentine belt because of YouTube. Yeah.
I did that once. It was not.
And it's
not as hard as you think.
Well, it's not something I want to do again.
But you have a beer and you're chilling out. Maybe even have a couple of friends over to help you, you know, do the brakes on your vehicle, you know, and you just buy a case of beer and make a Saturday afternoon out of it, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Or bring some Patron over to a dude that's got a couple microphones in front of a table and make a Sunday out of it.
Right.
Or make a pour over a cup of coffee at home on a.
Which I thought about, and I wish now that I had, that we had just brought up that setup to give you a pour over experience.
I've never had the pour over experience. I do need to try that one day.
Why do you giggle over there? She giggled.
She did giggle. She's probably giggling at something else. What are you giggling at over there, Miss California? Huh? Something.
I was going to say that's what she said.
That's what she
The
said. The
pour-over
pour-over experience. That's what she said.
Nice.
Why this? That now you see why she's as part of Neanderthal
Yeah.
podcast. She's a freak. Listen to her
Yeah.
pour over
Nasty.
experience. Unbelievable. We are
I
not
like it.
going to mention this chick's name.
But let me tell you. So, and it's a thing, you know. What I was trying to get at before, and I got really caught up in it, is that when you, regardless of how you make your coffee,
Right.
when you do it, there's stages to it, and the aroma profile and the taste profile will change through these stages, and each one of those is an experience because you're comparing the same product to different aspects of itself as it evolves. You know, when you first pour it, it's really hot, it smells different, it tastes different. Let it cool down a little. Right at its peak, it's gonna taste amazing,
Yeah.
and it's gonna smell amazing.
I would recommend to anybody listening to go do a cupping. You know, there's a lot of free cupping
That
opportunities.
sounds like you don't want to Google that.
And,
Do not Google cupping.
but it goes back to what Henry was saying. There's so many different stages to your coffee, and you'll get to learn to recognize that. Just like if you go to a winery and you know you walk through, or a brewing, you know, go tour Boulevard,
Right.
You know,
Sure.
there you learn all the different things about brewing beer or making wine or whatever. Coffee's the same exact experience. So there's just so many different stages to it, and even just the art of making a cup of coffee, it gives you that appreciation for it.
Coffee's beautiful.
It really is, and you gotta enjoy. Look, you can't dismiss those that mix their coffee with milk and sugar in some way or form. You know.
Oh, I don't disparage anybody
Yeah.
for how they intake their coffee.
Yeah. you
I
know.
prefer mine black, but if there's a dark roast that might have been slightly burnt, I'm going to throw some cream and sugar in there.
Absolutely.
Why
Got
not?
to. It's the only way to do it.
I'm not going to overpower it, but just a little bit to kind of cut that burnt popcorn taste, if you will.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
That's a good way to describe it.
Some people just like that taste too, just
It is. There is.
better liquor taste. Too.
There is. So these people had a commercial on the Super Bowl. They won an ad on the Super Bowl. I don't know. There was like some contest for a small business that they would win one ad on the Super Bowl, and this place won it in somewhere in California. It was called Death Wish Coffee.
Okay.
It was a small
Death
little
Wish
coffee roastery,
Right.
and they declared that their coffee is the most powerful coffee in the world.
Like caffeine wise?
I think it's up
Powerful.
to subjective opinion.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
that mean?
My
Coffee in general is very subjective, isn't it?
It is, but this is the strongest coffee in the world. So my buddy at work bought some, and he had me make it because we had just bought some other stuff. So I told you guys before we started the podcast up, I was talking about the Rogan episode. Rogan had a coffee expert on. Joe Rogan had a coffee expert on. I told you guys to check that episode out.
Yes.
On that episode, he brought some coffee for Joe, and he said, "This is one of my favorites. It's from San Francisco Coffee Company or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it was Esquipulas, Ethiopian coffee, and he was raving about it. I bought some from the exact same. I bought the exact same coffee they drank on the show from the exact same roaster. I went to the San Francisco Roasting Company, whatever it was, and got the Esquipulas.
Okay.
And it was phenomenal. It really was amazing. It was like $20 for 3/4 of a pound of beans.
Wow.
Not too bad, right?
That's expensive.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Just kind of
But from-
there a little bit.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, you
get
I'm
what you
sure
pay
were
for
paying
or
what you
something.
Yeah,
paid
and it
for.
was really, really good. And then I shared it with a bunch of coworkers. And then my buddy bought the Death Wish because it's the strongest coffee in the world or whatever, and had me make it. And I made it. I brought it to work, and it was awful. It was one of the most disgusting things we had ever put in our mouths.
What?
It was seriously like taking microwave popcorn and burning the living shit out of it.
That happens.
We've all
And-
done that.
We've done that.
And that's what it tasted like. And my buddy was pissed off enough that he wrote them and said, "What is this? This is horrible. This is undrinkable. Nobody likes this. It tastes like burnt popcorn." It's like, they said, "Oh, we understand some people don't like the taste of our coffee. It's an acquired taste. We'd be happy to let you try another bag if you'd like." He's like, "I don't want any of your stuff. This is how it is."
That's what they were going for the strongest coffee then?
Yep. So I
Just
guess
like
they
the
just
most
burnt the living crap out of their coffee and just say it's super, super strong. I imagine you have to put half a cup, half milk,
And like I
10
said,
things of sugar in it. I don't know.
we've done the whole burning coffee.
Yeah,
Which,
we
by the
have.
way, I'm glad you did not
Yeah.
toast these yourself.
You guys want to take
roasted.
a quick break real quick? Anybody got to use the little boys' room?
I'll take a break.
Yeah.
Let's take
I'm
a
good.
hit stop streaming real quick, young Miss. And we're back from our short little break. How long of a break was that? It's always longer than I expect.
I'm going to say 15 minutes.
20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes. That's about a good guesstimate. And you pointed out that there is this strange music shot glass filled with
Strange music. Hell yes.
El Patron.
Yes.
I call
last
it El
of it.
Patron now, just so everybody
That's
knows.
the restaurant.
El Patron sounds like a drug dealer to me. That's why I say it. I'm going to get really, I'm fucked up, and this is really going to put me over the edge. I'm going to bed in about 2 hours from now.
That's okay.
I'm kind of scared.
Sunday.
I'm scared. Should I do this?
It's first time. Well, it's the first time he says tequila Eva or Patron tequila.
Patron.
Okay. It's a little burn.
I don't think out of the
Your
podcasts I've
senses
watched,
are a little bit more woke.
I don't think I've heard him say he's been over the top before.
Yeah, you've been pretty smashed in this podcast before.
I get smashed in this podcast.
So
The Kansas City
You'll be all right.
podcast?
Yeah, Kansas City episode, I got wrecked. The one with Chevin, I got wrecked. What else? I mean, she laughs over there. What else? What have I else? I don't know. It's been a string of getting
yeah,
accidentally drunk on the podcast.
that's the beauty of it. It's accidental,
It is. And
spontaneous, as they say.
yeah, you guys had an agenda.
Ah.
What do you guys want from me? What do you want from me? You came in here to get me fucked up to get something from me. Look at you. I see it in your beady little eyes. You said, let's take advantage of this
we
guy.
wanted to have a good time, and I think I bought the Patron because I was like, I always see him with a glass of something. I kind of like rock out with nothing. So that's all it was, honestly.
I
He shows
appreciate
up
it.
at my place. He's like, I brought this bottle of Patron. Man.
Oh man.
He was like telling me, "Oh man, I was trying to go for a no drink weekend."
Man, I
Too
did.
late.
Sorry,
You
Robert.
Made it till
almost
Sunday.
you almost made it.
I made it till Sunday.
I didn't make it at all. Okay. So before we hit our little break to hit the ladies' room, you were talking about these beans you hooked me up with, and I need to roast these. And you told me last time a way to do it, but now you're glad that I haven't roasted these yet
Right.
because you've flipped the script a little bit and learned a thing or two.
Right.
So pretend I've saved these beans for when you guys come on this podcast because I want you guys to explain what I need to do exactly. Then I'm going to do it. I'm going to take some pictures, maybe some video, put it up on my Instagram, and people can check out after this episode's up how I did it, what it looks like, the kind of little, quick little process and stuff. So lay it out there right now. What do I have to do? Who's the master? Henry, are you the roast master?
No, by no means, and that's really what it comes down to. Look, when you can do a pan roast, you can, and the probably best thing to do if you're gonna do a stovetop roast, is to use the popcorn machine, correct? Because it can spin it.
A popcorn
Yeah,
machine.
and remember, it's got the
Are you talking about an air popper?
basically.
I have
basically.
one of those.
But does it have something where you can spin the popcorn? It's like a big spatula inside.
No, it's just like
I disagree.
Okay.
oh, he disagrees. We got a little disagreement on the podcast.
I don't think
There we go.
it's-
Who's right or who's wrong. We
I don't think
know.
there's a right or a wrong. So I think
Fisticuffs may ensue.
if you want to go cheap in roasting, you can use the popcorn popper, and it'll give you an even roast. Okay.
If you
Now-
go cheap and if you're going cheap, so you're saying this is like $6 or $7 for a pound of these beans.
Right.
Not too bad. I could put that in my air popper, and I'm gonna be satisfied.
It's gonna roast them down. It's gonna take 30 or 45 minutes to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's gonna take you some time. But to me, I'm more of a rustic nature type of guy.
That's like air roasting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like the unevenness of the cast iron, just putting a cast iron skillet on your stove, pouring the beans in there, and just stirring it to where you want it. It's not going to be perfect, but to me, it just gives it that rustic, hey, I did this, feel to it, and that unperfectness, that perfect unperfectness to me.
So let me tell you because we did both. We did the pan roast, and then we had someone professionally roast them for us.
Right.
Okay. And the difference is night and day.
It is.
Really?
Okay, that's why I'm like, well, how about you don't go with the pan roast? You'll be wasting it. Nevertheless, the pan roast produced, because of its quality bean, you still get a really good cup of coffee when you're making a comparison.
So to those out there, a pan roast is like taking like a cast iron skillet,
correct,
Right.
putting it on your stove,
and stirring
and,
consistently.
and what, like a low heat,
Yes.
super low, like what are we
No.
talking?
So
like on a dial of like what, 1 to 8 or something.
you
like
put it on
that.
a 4.
4. Okay.
The highest.
So a pan roast on the stove or the cast iron pan is
With like a wooden spoon,
Yes.
and you just constantly stir it. So sit in front of it for what, 40 minutes?
right. To
30
me,
minutes?
that's
Or
the equivalent
25
of
to 40.
How do you know when it's done? Because I like a light
Color
roast.
change.
I like
color,
a light roast.
just the color of it. Just the color of it.
You got to do it a lot of times. It's an art. I
Yeah.
can't
It
just do
becomes
it on
an
my
art.
first time and be
So-
like, bam, I did it.
Well, you can do it, and you're going to enjoy it because
Right.
it's something you did yourself.
Sure.
It may not be perfect, but you're going to learn from it, and you're going to perfect it. So, to me, doing it on the stove is like taking that pot and being at a campfire and cooking a good meal around a campfire versus,
Right.
being on a professional stove at home, maybe, and doing it, perfectly. So, and then the perfectness would obviously be getting a roaster and spending $1,500 and roasting
Oh,
it yourself,
Which
Henry,
is by no means where
do I do?
where we're going. So you don't have a lot of beans, okay?
me personally,
right?
right?
We've
I have.
given
What
you.
do I have here? 3/4? Oh,
You
maybe half a
You
pound?
have half. You
Half
have
a
half
pound?
of one of these.
Was this? Is this half a pound? I have.
This is 600 grams. Okay. So you
I'm not
have
a drug
300.
dealer. I don't know how many 600 grams. I don't know
Yeah,
what that
you know,
equals.
I've found that
It's the perfect sample size.
those guys are
bag.
good at math.
Yeah.
Right.
Drug dealers are good.
Drug
at
dealers
math.
are good at math, especially
have a
with
skill.
the metric system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but I'm not there. So, but I know you have half of one of these bags,
Okay.
and you have what's called the washed.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yep.
I have washed beans.
Which is the preference for everybody
It is.
because everything has been removed. You know, you get the flavor of the bean.
Okay.
Now you're gonna find that with the natural and the honey. Again, there's a difference in color. You're gonna get more fruitiness from these ones.
That's a honey washed. And
Okay, explain honey wash. Is it what I mean? What it sounds like? They use water and honey and wash it? No. Oh, damn.
Go ahead.
Damn.
Henry,
Okay.
I'll let you-
How cool would that be?
That's
How
what
cool
I
would
thought
that
at
be? You
first.
wash the beans with honey and water. That come on, somebody
But-
get on that.
when we're talking
Right.
washed, it's not
Well, that's the thing.
physically the washing. of it.
Coffee.
Do it anyways.
Coffee comes with, remember, it's a cherry.
Right.
That cherry actually has a lot of sugar content.
Okay.
Okay, so it has natural sweetness. So the honey, they remove a significant amount of that pulp, but leave some still on, and then dry it with some of that
I gotcha.
pulp. So that sweetness,
That sounds yummy.
that sugariness, it's not what you think though. It's again. Well, I don't know what
Is
you're
it
thinking,
bitter?
but it's no. The acidity.
Mm-hmm.
It's acidic. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
and that's there, and that's where you gotta search for the flavors that fruitiness, which I believe this one has a lot of. Guatemalan coffee is known for a lot of.
That acidic flavor.
Pardon?
That acidic.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to figure out what the notes are. On the fruitiness, I believe they said cherries, plum.
Ooh.
It's often brought up.
I like a delicious plum.
You're gonna notice a lot of fruity flavors in that washed.
I love
coffee.
fruity. Fruity's my favorite.
And I'm gonna say so. The general public,
Like
when
a
you
couple
go
of peaches.
right, so when you go
Love
to
me some
a
peaches.
cafe and you order a pour over, the general public's gonna request a washed bean source. That's just what the general connoisseur is gonna want. Maybe a more experienced connoisseur is going to go for more of a natural washed than anything. A natural cured bean. The honey is actually going to be the least popular, and it's also the newest too.
It's new.
So it's an acquired
Part of the third
taste.
wave. Trying new things.
This is honey. Can I look at it?
Yes. You can see that.
And you can see the
browning
difference
color.
in the beans.
It looks like honey. Like, I like it.
And by the way, those beans that we gave you are hand selected.
Hand selected. It's part of the specialty process we're
Exactly.
talking about.
You guys were hand selected to be on this podcast, just so you know.
Thank you.
Can appreciate that.
So you notice, like, when you go to the grocery store and you buy beans, the profile of those beans they're all sporadic throughout, and there might be some Robusta beans mixed in there. But when you look at those specific beans that are laying next to you, they're consistent across the board. It's almost perfection.
Yeah.
Can any of my listeners get these beans?
They can through Esquipulas coffees.
Oh, they can.
So
Yes.
right now it's,
Really?
it's a
Instagram.
direct. It would have
Holla
to be
at
through
your boy. Look at
And-
that.
Yeah, we can
and
get you hooked up.
Talk. You guys can get these fucking beans.
Yep.
You can.
Yeah.
And-
Straight from Guatemala right now.
Straight from
It's
Guatemala, straight
straight
to your
from-
fucking mouth.
And here's the
Yes.
thing, too. You can be in contact with our farmers in minutes. There's no
They don't want
customer
that.
service.
They just want your
There,
beans.
it's the story that comes behind it to
Yes.
me. So these farmers have spent decades and just getting
They're perfecting their
the
craft.
short
but
end of the
now-
stick, and now
Yes.
They love it. Do they,
They love
this?
this.
Really
they love this.
nice. I
love
love
it.
that.
It's like here in Kansas and Missouri and Nebraska and Iowa, you got all these generation farmers, right? Well, it's the same thing with these coffee farmers. So Jacoba Farms they've been doing it since the late 1800s. I
Wow.
mean, this goes back
Yes.
family
Generations.
generations. Yes.
Absolutely. One day maybe we can all take a trip to Guatemala.
Yeah.
At one
The
of
same family is working on the same. Like that's
Right.
Yep.
Same families continue.
really.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
And
really
whe- and
insane.
whether
That doesn't.
that's-
We don't have that in America. You don't hear that too often. Like we're not an old enough
all the farms
culture.
part
Really.
of the cob
Right.
are somehow related, whether that's a second, third cousin.
Mhm.
There's intermarriage relations, there's direct family relations, but they're all part of somehow related. And
So when you come to Esquipulas for coffee, you're not just getting some brokered coffee bean that's just been sitting in a warehouse for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, and we're just shipping you off bags of it.
Mhm.
This is the prime. This is the real deal. It's coming
This is it.
from
I mean,
a
this is
family
it.
generation owned farm. There's a story behind it.
It's
the
green.
richness behind
It's
it.
vacuum sealed.
It is.
It's gonna.
It's raw.
How can people get this from you guys? Like, if my listeners want to get some of your coffee, how can they do it?
Right
So
now,
you-
you
yeah.
go on Instagram, and we're at Esquipulas Coffees with an S, so coffees plural, on Instagram, and just send us a message, and
we'll
Really?
get that
we'll
to
get you hooked up.
Really?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that easy.
And we can get it to you roasted.
Oh,
or
you can
already-
roast it.
Yeah, already grinded.
Who's gonna roast it?
It actually getting roasted in
Contact
Guatemala.
us at WTF the coffee on Instagram.
Where
too.
the fuck's the coffee?
Where the fuck's the coffee at? We'll get you hooked up with the roasted coffee as well. So, kind of Esquipulas
Esquipulas
is our
the beans.
co-op. That's directly from Guatemala. It's gonna be brought across the border for you.
Legally or illegal?
Oh,
Legally,
legal.
Come on, no,
legally.
he slipped. Did you hear that?
No,
Did you
that
hear
was
He
legal.
slipped. He said
He
illegally.
went. I like.
That's not some- That's
So-
on some burlap saps on some giant Mexican just
Definitely
chucking
burlap
that thing
saps.
through.
Yeah.
We try to stay eco-friendly.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do. But if you contact us at WTF the Coffee or Where the Fuck's the Coffee on Instagram, we will do that roasting for you and deliver it to you. So we're the local guys in Kansas City. If you're local in Kansas City listening and you want to get in contact with us locally, WTF's the Coffee is where to do that on Instagram.
You want coffee? We'll get it to you.
We'll get it to you. We know
That's what we're about.
That's what we
Really?
do. Yeah.
Dude, that would be awesome. I hope at least one listener reaches out to try to buy some coffee from you guys.
We had this coffee roasted by a business.
Is that roasted right there, or does that still need to be roasted?
This needs to be
It's
roasted.
on our Instagram. We
Yeah.
did it with Second Best Coffee in Waldo, and we did a private roasting with them. And their coffee artist Phil is on our Instagram. Stated like he's saying this is the best Guatemalan coffee he's ever had, and he was skeptical of it too.
His words were, keep an eye out for these guys. They have an outstanding product.
Nice.
And this guy, he's one of those that I'm telling you that has been in the business for 10 years. He's, the education director at this coffee house. So he's one of 3 people that go into deciding what type of coffee they're going to purchase, what they're sourcing whom from. So we had a moment working with them, but we're also looking into, instead of selling it direct to, I guess the cafes, selling it to consumer.
Mm-hmm.
And we're thinking of starting our own thing also. And
we want to do a brick and mortar down the road, so eventually we will be serving hopefully the best cup of coffee in Kansas City. That would be our goal, is to literally be able to say, hey, not only do we have the finest beans sourced, the cleanest, neatest beans sourced, but we can also make and roast the finest cup of coffee you've ever had. We want to be the champagne of coffees.
Yeah. So. I love it. I love it. That's a tough. Kansas City's got some coffee, man.
It does.
You guys got some competition.
It does, but that's the good thing. What
It
would be the point?
It is, unless you're trying to open up a coffee store.
Sometimes,
right?
The competition.
If you're trying to open brick and mortar, that's a tough.
Let me tell you something. They don't have the direct connect we have.
They don't.
That's a leg up.
And they're scared of it too. We've talked to several cafes, and I'm not going to name any names.
Name one.
Well, we've named one, Second Best Coffee. Another one's Broadway. We've spoke with.
They're afraid.
They are afraid because.
What are they afraid of?
Look, our beans are more expensive than the average Joe bean.
Specialty bean.
But you're a 93.
Right. And
you got to pay for that.
But they're going to have to raise the prices on their cup of coffee in order to afford these beans, and it's obviously anything.
It's a marketing thing, right?
It's a marketing. It's a profit-driven industry, obviously. So
sure.
Once you get so big,
you're selling water.
It becomes to the point where you're giving up a little bit to get a little bit, obviously, and that's where we want to avoid, because, like you're trying to be the best podcast in Kansas City, right?
I didn't know. Did he say trying?
That's what I heard.
You are.
Did you hear trying?
So that's your absolute number one goal, is to always be the number one.
I'm fucking with you.
The top dog.
I am trying to, get that. But
Our
it is
goal
marketing.
is, say, we don't care what it costs to serve it to you. I mean, obviously you're going to pay for it, because that's the consumer that we want to market to, is the guy that is, or the lady that wants to have that the best cup of champagne or wine they possibly can have, but in the coffee world. So
or just something where you're really getting your money's worth.
Absolutely.
Okay? Because right now you're overpaying for coffee because you're not getting even the quality for what you're paying for.
Starbucks is insane. I don't like going to Starbucks.
You're not getting what you pay for. We're literally going to offer just that quality.
You
now,
want
if you want to add sugar and cream, great.
You want the experience and the quality, and I don't think there's one single place in town, and there's I like going to a few of them, so I'm not knocking anybody here, but I don't think there's one place in town where you can get everything, and so there is a niche there.
What's a good place in Kansas City to get coffee right now? Since you guys don't have your brick and mortar up,
I would say Second Best Coffee. I would
Second
promote
Best
them.
Coffee.
I would promote Broadway too. I like
Broadway
that.
are good.
I hear a lot of good things about Broadway.
They really are. They're where we had our first best cup. What was that place that we went to?
Which one?
It's a college. It's a college.
Oh, we did a cupping there too with them. It's on our Instagram.
Coffee cupping.
Let's clear that up.
Coffee cupping. Yes,
I love it.
It's up in. I can't think of it off the top of my
Look,
head.
there's
Now
a
it's-
few places. Like
There's
you
a
said,
great-
Kansas City is
yeah.
great. Okay, the competition is here, but I think that, there's definitely still room for an improvement.
There is room. I mean, Kansas City is growing every single day. They're talking about more businesses moving in here all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah. Where would you guys? So like your dream, where would your brick and mortar coffee place be?
Well, we've talked about it, and we kind of want to be in the burbs. There's
Oh really?
for us. There's
Okay.
not from a business standpoint.
Like out on the Kansas side, like Johnson
Yeah,
County.
you
Yeah.
can't get a good cup of coffee there.
No.
The places you go, you're kind of scared to walk into because everyone's acting like
All right,
they're too prim and proper.
absolutely.
Well, that's what your place will end up being.
no, we don't want to be that.
Well, then you
There's
better not put it in Johnson County then.
You think so?
Yeah, I know so.
but
That's what Johnson County is.
a lot of people from
But that's
John-
where money is. So who? You
But-
know.
if you got to have money in order to spend money, and a lot of people from Johnson County go down to the city to get coffee, or go to the bars, or go for shows, anything.
No, they'll
they
spend money, but it's your
They
brick and mortar
leave-
will end up being a Johnson County.
Brick and mortar. I
Brick
see
and
what
mortar.
you're saying. I
Like
see
just
what you're
because
saying.
that's what the clientele. When you put that brick and mortar amongst those people, that's
Has
the
to fit
people that
them
are going to
all.
frequent their brick and mortar.
Right.
So you'll have the best coffee around, which you're getting. There's nothing wrong with it. Get bougie with it. Get the Johnson County soccer moms in there. Let me tell you something. This podcast is not Johnson County soccer mom friendly. Action 41 News told me so themselves.
Oh, is that right?
Really?
They will. I'm too dangerous for Action 41 News.
How'd that happen?
It's just I reached out to them. I wanted to be on their podcast because they have a podcast that's for local podcasters.
Uh-huh.
I said, hey, I'm a local podcaster. Let me be on your show. They watched my podcast or listened to it, and they said, we like your podcast, but we think with your adult material, we would catch a lot of flack from our listeners
Oh
from
my
having you. I was
gosh.
like, get the fuck. I was like, all right, I understand.
But don't a lot of these Johnson County quote unquote soccer moms, they go home and listen to Joe Rogan at night though too?
I don't know. I really don't
I
know.
mean, everybody lets loose.
Yes, but
It's just
they
a public
have,
persona.
yeah,
you
but
put off,
that's
right?
their persona that they have to roll with, and I understood it.
Yeah.
I go, I understand. No hard feelings. I get it.
Yeah.
But my point is, there's nothing wrong with getting that demographic. I can't get in that demographic. I don't care. But if you guys throw your coffee out there, who cares? Get that money. That's where that money is. Go get your money. Throw that good coffee out there. The soccer moms got money to throw around. Let them buy good coffee.
They do.
I ain't
They
mad
like
at
coffee.
it. Throw it out there. Do
You know,
it.
I'm
Get
not-
your money, son. Get it.
If I
They
wanted
want
to,
that money.
if I wanted
And then
to,
sponsor this show.
Yeah.
Get that
Yeah.
Johnson County money, and then have that money sponsor this show, and that's a big fuck you to everybody.
Right.
for
Boom,
us,
schlock,
that.
boom.
I don't
That's
think
how we
it's
do
all
it.
about the money. It's
It is for me. Give me
it's
money, Robert. Do you have money? I'm
the
about to rob you.
experience, You know,
Miss California, get my pistol.
get
We're
it,
robbing these
get it.
people.
I'll file an insurance claim. I'm in that business already.
It does. You're right. We're looking at it. We thought about it. We just think that going down to a place where it's already saturated with.
It's saturated down
Phase,
there.
like-
Like Crossroads or River Market or something.
Yeah. Yeah. There's someone.
I got a hard
North Kansas
yeah.
City. I mean,
Yeah.
the culture's there, but it's already
It's
saturated.
already set there.
So,
yeah.
but these folks are traveling to Parkland, to North Kansas City, to the River Market, to Midtown.
Right.
They're all going there to get this. So here in the burbs, there's also, the Johnson County Community College, group. There's tons of opportunities here, and there's other things you can do as far as not obviously serving the best cup of coffee that you can get is part of it, but it's also the experience. So where else can you go get a great cup of coffee and also see a good band? You can't do it.
So your dream is to have like a pretty cool coffee spot in Johnson County where they have little bands and your
Stand-up
beans and
mics, everything.
That's cool,
Yeah,
man.
Creatives.
Whether it's
I
Johnson
like that,
County
dude.
or
That's
not,
cool.
at this time it remains so. But definitely we wanted to have where there's a stage, where it's open mic, where there's places where
What
someone,
about like a back room with like a podcast studio?
that too,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
no, seriously, we're talking about being innovative,
Right.
not just opening one place that does one thing, but a place
I'll go
that
in
does
on the rent with you
multiple
guys.
things, and have TED Talks
Yeah.
as well, type of things.
Right,
You know what
right,
I mean?
right.
Someone, an expert comes and boom, he's going to talk, and whoever shows up, shows up. It's not a thing. We're just going to have it open, and we're going to have the space for people to do those
Look,
things.
we want it to be a space that we enjoy.
Let me get in on
You know?
this. Let me get in on this, you
So-
guys. I want a piece of this action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I love it.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, we're just like a nice little
But seriously,
Kumbaya moment
Kumbaya there.
a
Cheers.
cafe. We're roasting our own beans. They're directly sourced from the farm that we are partner up with. And we're not just talking partners. We're talking close relationships here. Okay.
You
No-
talk to these people.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
the time.
What
I
do
mean,
they like to do besides farming? What kind of things do these farmers like to do in Guatemala?
So a lot of Byron.
What's a hobby? Like, what do these guys
because
do?
of the area they're into, they're actually a lot into motorbike.
Oh, really?
What,
Or
cross
Cross-
country
cross
type.
moto or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. It's jungle type of area as well,
Four-wheel
surrounding.
drive.
Not the city, but they're near around. Yeah, outdoorsy
Four-wheel
type
drive,
of
like kind of like jungle rednecks.
things.
Yeah,
Maybe.
kinda. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
coffee
Yeah.
farming rednecks. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you can be a slash, I don't
Surely
know,
every
hipster
po-
redneck.
yeah,
you know,
right.
It exists. It does.
These guys are it.
Yeah.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love it.
Right now, they're working a lot on getting all the certifications and everything certified and recognized
Doing a lot of
nationwide. Yeah, Esquipulas Coffee actually just got one of the main guys, Byron Souza.
We can support you. All we have to do is buy your shit, right? That helps
Right.
you guys out.
Yeah,
It
basically.
absolutely does.
And
So
we'll
we
get
just
that
had
coffee to you.
Esquipulas. I've got to put that link on there. Esquipulas.
Yep.
Coffee.
Did I say it? Did I say it?
You
Yeah.
said it.
Esquipulas.
You finally said it right.
100%.
Hey, come on. I'm
Esquipulas
super
Coffees.
white. I told you that. I'm like Irish,
You
okay?
got it.
He's super white. Esquipulas.
I struggled with it at the beginning.
Esquipulas Coffee. People, Instagram, Esquipulas. I'm going to put that in the show links, whatever. Please find that to get the beans and roast it. Okay, I've got half a pound beans here. What do I do with these? Tell me what to do. I have a popcorn roaster and I have a flat iron. I have an iron skillet and I have a Dutch oven.
Let me ask you this. Don't use the Dutch ovens out.
Okay, Dutch oven's
So
out.
let me ask you this. If you're going to go make some chicken, all right,
Okay.
do you want it campfired or do you want it, nice and neat on the stove?
Oh, I cook everything in my cast iron skillet.
Then throw it in the cast iron and just keep stirring it and stirring it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the most perfect even roast, but it's going to be that rustic feel to
It's
it.
gonna be good.
You want to
gonna
move
be
it
good.
consistently because otherwise.
So
you're
for
gonna
like
have-
25 minutes, just
keep
constantly going. Do I heat
stirring
the?
it.
Do I
It's gonna
heat?
be a chore.
Do I heat the skillet up first and then put it in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We've
well,
done it both. Heat that skillet. Put the skillet on the stove.
About 10, 15
Set
minutes.
it on a number 4.
Okay.
Get it even hot.
Right.
Throw those beans on there.
And
And
then
just
take a
No.
whisk.
don't stop stirring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you
I
Or
would
a
say
wooden spoon.
I would say 3.5, and then at some point maybe take it to a 4.
Okay.
But definitely preheat at 3.5.
Okay.
And once it's preheated, which usually takes about 7-10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you throw them on, and like he said,
Dedicate
just
30 minutes to
boom,
stirring.
boom, and you gotta see the color change. Okay. Just keep
Mm-hmm.
an eye on it, and as long as it stays consistent
Is it gonna
enough,
smell so good?
It's going to
At
smell
one
wonderful.
point.
Yes.
At one point.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
then that's where I'm talking.
And
also
you can
again,
smell it if it starts burning.
it changes. Everything's going to change. Color, smells change.
This is exciting.
It is.
It is.
It is. And once you go through it, you can drink it as soon as you're done roasting it,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to wait really 48 hours
2 days.
for that
That makes sense.
flavor to
that makes
just
sense.
set.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Then you want to do the
It's like if
grinding.
you're-
What should I put it in? Put it in just a Tupperware container with a lid, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like if you're curing meat,
Airtight.
You
Mm-hmm.
want to make some bacon, you get a pork belly and you rub it and you stick it in the fridge and let it sit for a week before you smoke it, right? It's the same thing with your
Mm.
coffee. Just
I
you gotta
can't wait.
you gotta
I can't
plan to
wait.
spend that 30 minutes of just stirring it in an evening. Get a glass of wine or whatever you like to drink, some whiskey, and spend that 30 minutes
I like El
just-
Patron.
or that Patron, and just keep stirring it and chill out. Maybe play some music and have a good time with it, and then just let it sit for a couple days. So it's there's gonna be a learning curve to hey, I'm out of coffee. I can just run to Price Chopper or Hy-Vee or wherever and buy a can of Folgers, right?
Right.
This is something you're going to have to plan out to do. So you're going to be a connoisseur looking to.
But not really. I mean, half an hour. Say,
It's
let's
not
say
a
the
lot of
whole,
time out of
Let's say
life.
the
No.
entire process at the most is an hour.
Right.
Someone has an hour to dedicate to getting into a new hobby, learning a new craft.
Sure.
Exactly.
Just trying something out. If you're adventurous and want to try something, if you enjoy coffee,
Like
if you
I
like
said-
coffee, this is really an experience to just to try something.
Like I
Why
said,
wouldn't you just
get
try
your
it?
significant other, spend some
I
time in
agree.
the kitchen, playing some music, just stirring
Right.
some coffee, having a drink,
Right.
and
Miss
that
California,
time-
would you
time
like to
flies
make
by.
some? Would you like to roast some coffee with me?
Sure, I've never done that. besides
Me
my
neither.
birthday.
Let's have some drinks and roast some coffee together.
there you
go.
go.
Sounds
that's
like a good
that's
night.
basically what we did. We just chilled out, roasted it, and you get to enjoy that smell throughout the house.
Yeah.
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 And every time and then there's the smell, and then once you grind it, it's like an explosion all over again, a brand new smell that's
Yeah.
way more intense.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited.
So,
And then when you brew it too, it's just like Henry was saying, it goes through these stages. So you're just smelling what you're brewing.
Right.
It's just, you think you can smell the coffee coming out of the Mr. Coffee machine, but you're just over the top of it. And it's just like, whoa,
Yeah.
and whatever you do, it's going to be a good coffee for you, just because, again, it's a
Absolutely.
good quality bean.
Right.
And go ahead and make a standard French press of anything else that you have on the table and do a comparison.
Right.
And you tell us whether you can find more fruitiness, more notes
I
coming
love a
out of
good
these,
fruit.
as opposed to
You make a French press of this and
Mhm.
compare it to a French press of Folgers or Columbia House, whatever you drink.
I'm not doing that. Nobody's
And
doing that. I
You're
mean, that
you're gonna
stuff's
taste
freeze dried. You can't even French press that stuff.
mean,
It's too fine.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even press
One-
down in the plunger.
one's a fruit and one's a gunpowder.
Ugh.
So it's a night and day. You'll be able to notice.
I
the night
can't
and
wait.
day.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna tag you guys. I hope people check your stuff out.
Esquipulas Coffees.
Esquipulas Coffees.
Yes. At Esquipulas Coffees.
That's
on
all right. He had a
Instagram.
hard time
I
for the
did.
longest time.
Yeah.
I almost
It's
wanted
It's
to
hard when you're
rebrand.
not from Australia. It's really hard to pronounce.
Right?
Yeah. I almost wanted to rebrand, and then the story got told to me, and the church story, and all that. The culture is just so embedded into it that,
Yeah.
and I think that is a major speaking point to it. Is like Jacoba Farms, speaking, specifically, is our largest farm. They've been doing this since the 1800s with their family. That they know how to do this. They love doing it. There's nothing else in the world that they'd rather do. And you can get with us right on Instagram and say, hey, I want to come to Guatemala and come see your farm, and then
Yeah,
go
we can set up
four-wheeling with these
Oh, shit.
guys, and they'll take you out and
Come
do it.
jungle rednecking
Yes.
with Jacoba Farm, you guys.
They,
Yeah.
they would love
We'll
to
set
have
it up.
you.
Can we do ayahuasca and
Yeah.
have a good?
We'll figure out a Guatemalan
I don't know if they're
Airbnb
into
for
that,
you.
but we can
We'll
figure
do it.
something.
I mean, we'll
Somebody
do it.
will.
Yeah, we'll get you there. So,
Dude, amazing. Guys, thank you so much for being
yeah.
here.
Thanks for
Absolutely.
having us.
This was freaking. Thank you for that Patron. Thank you
Yeah.
for the
Welcome.
coffee beans.
Thanks for drinking it and having a good time.
I
with
can't
us.
wait to throw this on my cast iron skillet. Get this bad boy. I can't wait to drink it, and we'll do it tonight. Me and my producer here will make it, and then in 2 days, let it sit, and I'm gonna have it probably Wednesday morning. I'll bring it to some of my coworkers.
Do it.
There you go.
Fuck yeah!
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, again, one more time, pimp your stuff. I really hope
All right.
people come and find you because they can just buy these beans. Anybody, people listening, listen up real quick, and this is how you can buy these beans. They're not expensive. That's not that expensive.
We have 7 farms that you can pick these beans from. So that's not just one farm.
Like, you're
that's
supporting,
7.
you guys are, not only are you supporting these people that are on the podcast right now, which is a super small business. They're super local. You're supporting me by just, hey, these friends of the podcast, like, let's support them.
We need to get you a promo code, maybe.
And you're just gonna get badass coffee. Who doesn't want great coffee?
Specialty coffee.
So if you wanna support our farms,
please do it. Please.
Go right to @Esquipulas Coffees on Instagram and just send us a direct message. We'll respond right back to you. We're a small business. It's not a bot that's going to respond to you. We'll have a conversation, get you the coffee that you're looking to get. If you want something, if you're scared to roast it and you want to deal with somebody that's right here in Kansas City, get with us at WTF is the coffee. So where the fuck is the coffee?
WTF is the coffee.
Yep, on Instagram. You're going to reach one of us, either Henry or myself, and we will get you the coffee. We'll roast it. We'll bring it to you. Heck, we might even have a cup with you. And cheers. So,
man, I this is where my anxiety sets in, and I'm afraid no one's gonna do it from my podcast. But I hope they do. Guys, thank you so much. This was phenomenal. Thank you for just coming and bringing me gifts.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having this conversation with me. I see a beautiful future.
Yes.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Can I get a fist bump?
Yeah.
Britney Spears over there. Hit the widescreen. I got to get a fist bump.
Right there.
Yeah. Fist bump. You guys.
Boom.
Thank you guys. Neanderthal Podcast, everybody. Thank you all. This was amazing. We're out.
We're out.
Bye.
We're out.
Bye.
Peace.